Hi, welcome to Memories of the Mizrach. I am Rabbi Saul Zucker. I have the pleasure and privilege of serving as head of school at Ben Porat Yosef BPY. This is a program that we started a few years ago, not just for our school, but really for the community. The story of the Jews of the Mizrach is our story. We draw strength from it, we draw inspiration, we draw guidance, we draw life's lessons, everything that's going to guide us as we move forward in life. It is especially significant that this year, as BPY celebrates its 25th anniversary, that we are able to turn to the past, look to the future at Am Yisrael, and tonight in particular at the story of the Jews of Arab lands, the story of the Mizrach. Welcome one and all to Memories of the Mizrach.
My name is Shlomo Tzadok and I was born in Yemen. I was 1 year old when we moved to Israel. I'm the first of 11 in my family. They lived in a ghetto. We had like a Ladino, an Arabic Yemenite, Jewish language, which was different. It combined Lashon HaKodesh in Arabic.
I was born in Baghdad, Iraq, but I was raised in Kobe, Japan. So we had a very, very small population of Jews, maybe about 30 families. My father was pretty observant. He was a leader in the Jewish communities. He was involved with being a Baal Tefillah, Baal Koreh. He did everything. He actually even shechted chickens.
So my last name is Halabi. My great-grandfather moved from Halab to Damascus. Halabi means the person who comes from Aleppo. At the time I was living in Syria, there was only 4,000 Jews. My father was a young man in Damascus, and things were very, 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 very difficult for the Jewish community. They put a travel ban on the Jewish community. You cannot leave not only the country, you cannot leave the city, because they thought maybe the Jewish community one day is going to wake up and they're going to either escape to Israel or they're going to revolt against us. So one of my best friends was Muslim, and he invited me over one day to break the fast during Ramadan. And he made sure that the food was kosher because he knew I kept kosher. So you see, there was camaraderie there, and there was definitely friendliness between the different sects, especially between the minorities, especially in Syria. 1980s in Syria is the equivalent of the 1920s or 30s in America. They used to shut off the electricity 7 or 8 hours per day to conserve energy. I used to go to the water fountain in the street with pots, and you just fill up water and take it home. So your mom could cook and she could clean, you could drink.
I was born in Morocco, Casablanca. All the Jews, most people speak French. The lower class speaks Moroccan Arabic. With friends, family, everybody spoke French. So most mother in Morocco don't work, they're stay-at-home mom. My dad was in real estate. The king of Morocco had made a rule from his grandfather that nobody is allowed to touch any Jew or do anything against the Jew or the Jewish community. We were really able to live freely our Judaism.
I was born and raised in Iran, in Tehran city. The neighborhood we lived was majority, we were mixed. Muslim, Jews, Christian, Persian, Farsi was my language.
Both of us born and raised in Rome, Italy, which is in the center of the country.
The Jewish Roman community is one of the most ancient in the world outside of Israel. From the Churban Bayit Sheni, there's been a Jewish presence, a Jewish community in Rome for 2,000 years. So now in Rome you have Roman Jews, but they still keep the Sephardic minhag, and then you have Tripolini, how we call them, Jews from Tripoli and Libya that are Sephardic. Roman Jews spoke Italian with a Roman accent, and then the Jewish Roman slang, which took some Jewish Hebrew words and they Italianized them.
The community in Damascus, we had 14 shuls, was fairly traditional community. We kept kosher, Shabbat. all the holidays. We had a sukkah. A lot of the traditions in the Damascus Jewish community, it resembles the Jews of Iraq, because they were influenced by the Ben Ish Chai.
Unfortunately, when we came to Eretz Israel, there was a lot of forces that tried to make the Yemenites lose their identity and minhagim. Fortunately, there were a lot of people who did resist that. Minhagim continued up to today, especially our way we pronounce the Hebrew language, the Lashon HaKodesh, with our specific intonations. In Teman, the daily life was centered around the synagogue, the shul. Basically, most Temani Jews worked to sustain themselves, and when they had enough money during the day, they would close their shops, their businesses, and go learn Torah in the shuls.
My neighborhood in Morocco was very concentrated with Jews. All the Jews lived nearby because they wanted to be near shul. Even though we are Sephardic, and because there was a lot of Rabbanim, so we follow a lot of Ashkenazim custom. For instance, kidneyot we're not allowed on Passover. Also something very big in Morocco in our culture, it's tzaddikim, like Rabbanim, Ilulat, when you celebrate the death of a big rabbi. So we had a center, same concept of JCC. It was a Jewish center, it's called the Dej. Everyone will gather there Saturday afternoon, and Sunday all day they'll have a restaurant, that kind of gymnastic, and we will have shows there. There was a very, very nice center. And I remember on like Passover, they'll have tournament, like soccer was a big sport in Morocco.
I was raised in a traditional Jewish family. I had 3 other sisters. We were happy, we have everything that we need, and we were calm. Till I started going to the high school and mixed with the Muslim. Then a little bit problem raised because of the anti-Semitism. It was 200,000 Jews living in Iran, very big community. We were not under any, pachat from the Shah when he was in power. When I was going to the Jewish school, the synagogue was in the same school, and we used to go there, and we have a lot of friends, was a lot of fun. The shul is a place we used to have the community to be together and enjoy each other and pray. Purim time, we used to go to Tomb of the Esther Mordechai. That was used to be, they said Shushan, but they changed the name to Hamadan. The people used to go there, and we used to light candle there. Then on Purim, it was minhag for us, just give money to the children.
We had a Jewish community life, Sidur Bnei Romi, which means sons of Rome, and it's the special minhag of the Jews from Rome. It's not Sephardic and it's not Ashkenazi. It's more similar to Sephardic, but it has its own nosach and way of singing.
Roman minhag, there's a lot of singing.
The Roman Torah scroll is like the Ashkenazi one. It doesn't have the hard wooden cover, but then it has the rimonim and all the adornments on top, like the Sephardic one.
Shabbat was always Friday night, dinner with the family, like grandparents and uncle and aunt and cousins, and that was like sacred. Even though in the family, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but not necessarily they kept Shabbat. They would drive from different areas of the city, but we would meet all together and have dinner all together.
Judith and I were started to keep Shabbat and more kashrut in non-Shomrot Shabbat families.
And growing up, Shabbat afternoon was always Bnei Akiva. I would walk to shul, which is like, as you know, far away from my parents' house, and spend the afternoon in Bnei Akiva, meeting with friends and having fun there.
The first 10 years of my life, I went to a Catholic missionary school. The school was run by brothers. They're the equivalent of nuns. And they were teachers mostly from the United States, Canada, and Europe. And my father was extremely happy for us to learn anything at that time. He made sure to impress upon us that learning anything would help us in our life.
So my parents felt that for my education, they didn't want me to go to a Jewish school. Majority of the kids went to Maimonides. It's called Ibn Maymun, which is Maimonides, which is a school to yeshiva in Damascus. My parents felt that the secular education in Maimonides was not as good as the French school. So I was sent to a French Catholic school growing up. So imagine this Jewish kid who keeps kosher and keeps Shabbat to an extent in a French Catholic school in a Muslim country. Now, my father wanted me to learn Hebrew a little bit, and wanted me to pray and know how to read Hebrew. So he hired a rabbi who came to my house, and he taught me Aleph Bet, basic Hebrew. I knew how to read and how to pray in Hebrew. And for my bar mitzvah, I knew how to read the parasha from the Sefer Torah.
In public schools in Italy, you go to school 7 days a week, including Shabbat. So we would walk to school, no backpack because there's no Eruv in Rome, so you're not allowed, and without being able to write or to do any work, so we would just sit there and listen to whatever was going on. Some of my best friends, they were not Jewish, and I met them in high school, and they were super respectful. They came to our wedding in Jerusalem, even though they were not Jewish. Other interactions in school for me were not as nice. Some kids, they were young, and they felt that they belonged to the extreme right, and they had like Nazi symbols on their, notebooks and whatever. And on the far left, it was the opposite, like lots of interactions that were not nice about Israel and what was going on at the moment between Israelis and Palestinians. And it felt like you have to be like a representative of the Jewish people, of Israel, even though back then I wasn't even Israeli, and fight for what you think is right.
And so I think the mix of this is how things are done and kept properly in Bnei Akiva and I'm actually different was a motivation for me to, I want to give it a chance and I want to keep it properly, both kashrut and Shabbat and Chagim, and that's how it started for me.
95% of the Jewish kids went to a Jewish school. Every businesses in Morocco, they will stop between 12 and 2. Kids, workers will come home, have lunch, we'll go back. So we'll start at 8 a.m. in the morning. We'll have Hebrew. We'll have we'll pray, tefillah in the morning. Then we'll have Hebrew, and we'll have French, and math. And then the rest of the curriculum that was at the time, depending on what grade you will be, and then you'll come home at 6. So in Morocco, it's very interesting. Especially in Casablanca, the Jewish schools were very attractive. And so the Muslim, like the higher class Muslim or the kids from ministers, they wanted their kids to join our school. And you cannot refuse them. So we had to accept them, and which was very interesting. Those kids were and they had to learn Hebrew. And they were the first one in Hebrew classes. And one of my very close friends was Muslim. And it was never a problem.
5 years old, I went to a Jewish school that it was in my neighborhood. And I learned Hebrew there. We have a shul there. We could go on Shabbat. At that time, really most my friends were Jewish. And the neighbors also were Jewish, till I finished the elementary, and then unfortunately when I was at 7th grade, I have to go to the Muslim school. When I was getting married with my husband, it was 1978. That was beginning of the revolution. We were preparing for our wedding. It was the day, 4 days before my wedding, was people were against the king, against the Shah. They didn't want him. So it was a lot of killing in the street. They kill a lot of people. My brother-in-law at that time was an officer in the army. Jews has to go to the army. It was a must for everyone. So he went and told them, we are Jewish people. On Wednesday, we have a wedding. They said, it doesn't make any difference. No gathering. They cancel my wedding. So they just give us 3 hours ceremony of the chuppah in my own apartment. So little by little, they started, we feel that we are not comfortable here anymore. We have to go out cover. We have to hide our religion sometimes because we were scared, we were afraid they do, harm to us. After a few years that, Baruch Hashem, I have my 2 kids, my son Daniel and my daughter Ilana. They were going to school, but the situation was getting worse every single day, especially when the war started between Iran and Iraq. I told my husband, I don't want to raise my children in this country. It's not good for them. There is no future. We have to hide. We are Jewish. We don't want to do that anymore. But it was very hard to live because that time they make it very hard for the Jewish people. They didn't want to give us a passport. So finally we find somebody that he was agree, pay him a lot of money, and he said, I'm going to get you a passport in 1 week. The person make the passport for us, told us, don't go from the real airport. Go through the border, Iran and Turkey. Over there, they are not going to check nothing. We went to the border. We give them our passport that we want to leave. All of a sudden, the officer looked at our passport and he told us, something is wrong with your passport. We waited 10 hours. He said, I'm going to call back Tehran city to make sure the passport is okay. My husband went, please let me go. We are tired here. We have to leave. And at that moment, the telephone rang. And they said, catch them. They are Jewish. They cannot leave the country. Honestly, my daughter was on my lap when my husband told me, Leah, they find out we are Jewish. We are in Sakana. I almost fainted. I said, Hashem, what is this? What is this plan? And you don't understand, all the thing Hashem put in your way is letova. So the guy was nice to us. He told, you know what, I have to take your money, I have to take your passport, I am not going to take you to the jail because it is false. You said you are Muslim, but you have a document that you are Jewish people. We ran away from there because we were scared. So this is what happened. We find smugglers and we give a lot of money to them. And he told us that the Thursday night, you're gonna take the plane. We arrange everything, nothing. We couldn't take anything with us. The plane ride was just half an hour. So we arrived to this city that's called Zahedan. This city is very, very close to border Iran and Pakistan. They collecting people, all the Jews from different part of Iran. When it was 12 o'clock at night and it was dark outside, the truck came. Everybody piled in the truck. So everybody jumps to the car. Now we are 25 Jews in one tiny truck. The truck was going so fast in the darkness because they were scared to have the light because the Khomeini guards were looking for people. They knew people are running away from this country. But Pakistan is not safe. It's not safe for us either. We have to go to United Nations that they would give us a paper that if the police in Pakistan catch us, they shouldn't send us back to Iran. We had no food. We have no water even to drink, nothing. I don't know how we survived for 1 week. So Hayas was helping us. So when we get to Karachi, we went to a hotel. When we got to the hotel, was already 500 Iranian Jews in that hotel. And we stayed 3 months in Pakistan with really not good condition. My daughter got sick, I got sick. It's a very, very long story, but Baruch Hashem, we were looking for what? To get the passport. So finally, after 3 months, we got the passport, we got to Vienna, and now there is 5,000 Iranian Jews and there is no visa to come to, no refugee visa. So now you have to wait months that when you can get your visa to come America. We arrived to America Friday afternoon, January 19, 1989. This is our wish. We're going to America. We're going to send our kids to yeshiva. This is what we have our plan. This was our hope. This was our dream, to come to free country.
I was told about an outdoor oven where we used to bake pitut. My mother told me that at one occasion she had to hide me in the oven because the Arabs were doing a pogrom in the Jews. And that was in the time of the declaration of the State of Israel. The Jews in Teiman yearned to go to Eretz Israel. To go to the airplanes, they had to walk about 2 weeks. On those trips, in those walks, hundreds or maybe thousands of Jews died. And they died because of the way that they had to walk, and also because of robbers. When somebody came to Teiman and told them that there are airplanes with wings waiting to take them to Eretz Israel, they took that as the fulfillment of the pasuk, "Va'esa otchem al kanfei nesharim," and they took that 100%, and they were willing to sacrifice and go to Eretz Israel. The general Yemenite population in Israel in the beginning, I don't know if anybody heard or not, had a big, enormous challenge that the babies who were born in hospitals, many of them were stolen. And in many cases, they told the parents that the children were just died, but when they demanded to see the graves, they wouldn't let them. As a matter of fact, my brother, they tried to do that to him, and they switched my brother to another kid. My mother was adamant that it wasn't hers. She went all over the place until she found him and she recovered him. We have people in Englewood that lost a brother and they discovered him as a grown-up in Canada. And there are bad stories from that period.
So my father really left Iraq for business reasons. He was stuck in Japan during the war. He didn't do anything for about 4 years. They had to hide in the mountains because for a little while the Americans were bombing different cities in Japan. My mother, who was half his age, she had to leave in 1949, which was about 10, 12 years after my father left. I was 9 months old when I left Iraq. It was getting dangerous for the Jews in Iraq, and they were actually told that the day will come in short order where all the Jews would be expelled. The neighborhood that I lived in was an area in Kobe that was populated mostly by foreigners. My father knew other business people who were in Singapore. So when my mother left Iraq, she stopped in Singapore on her way to Japan. It was a long trip back then. And she stayed there for a few days. She left Iraq with 2 babies. And then she continued on her journey to Kobe, Japan. I think within a year after my mother left, most of the Jews from Iraq ended up in Israel.
When I was a teenager, I started developing a very, very strong sense of Zionism and a feeling that after 2,000 years, I'm given the opportunity to go back and try, at least try how it is to go back to Eretz Israel. But we both moved to Israel, did Mechina in Israel, which is a preparatory year in which you study a lot of Hebrew. And then I started my BA, my bachelor degree in Israel. It was clear to me that I felt a strong belonging, and that is my country and my people that I wanted to. And I remember calling my parents and saying, I'm staying, I'm becoming a citizen, and I'm staying here.
I was raised very, very Zionist. And I think it was just natural to at least give it a try. And I remember clearly after a few months, if not a few weeks, that feeling of belonging, like this is where I'm supposed to be.
The Roman community took a minhag after the foundation of the State of Israel. Every Yom Ha'atzmaut, they do a ceremony at the Arch, and they pass under the Arch the other way around to symbolize that we can go back.
Before 1992, if you're a Jewish family wanted to go on vacation, let's say, you want to leave the country, they would give you they would give visas to only half of your family to go. Why? Because they want to ensure that you're going to come back. In 1992, when all the Jews got permission to leave, it took about 3 or 4 years for everybody to actually get out. I was the first in my family to get the exit visa to leave Syria. My uncle, his name is Dr. Meir Ballas, he left Syria in 1977, but he was very involved in the Jewish community in New York. And when I came to visit my grandparents in July of 1993, he asked me, why are you going back to Syria? You should stay here. I'm like, I don't know. First of all, I don't speak any English. My Hebrew, I just know how to read Hebrew, right? Where am I going to stay? So I had an aunt who was a newcomer who came in 1992, and she lived in a 2-bedroom apartment, and she had 4 children, and she was pregnant. And she said, you know what, I could watch you for as many months as you need till your parents moved. Now, how can you survive the first year of high school not speaking a word of English, right? So I used to carry with me a big dictionary, English-Arabic dictionary. So whatever I see a word around, I would look it up. I couldn't afford to buy anything from the cafeteria because my parents weren't here. I remember clearly, for breakfast in Flatbush High School, they give you free breakfast. So you just go to the cafeteria, you could get milk and cereal and orange juice. So I used to take the small cereal boxes, take extra cereal boxes, and I would hide them in my locker because I wanted to have lunch, and I didn't have money for lunch. So my parents came in 1995, and my mom came alone with my brothers. My father kept going back and forth to Syria in the hopes of trying to sell our house in Syria.
Before my generation, like, parents didn't really go to college. So when the kids started wanting to go to college, there was really no future for Jews. There's not really college for Jewish kids. So they have to leave to build kind of a future for them. So I went to Paris because most kids after goes either to Paris or Israel. My parents wanted me to go to Paris because I had family there. So I got an internship in America, so I came. And I loved it, and they offered me a job after I finished my diploma in Israel. So I went, and that's why I came back, and I met my husband. I used to go 3 times a year, 4 times, when my parents lived there. But since they left, I maybe went twice, because every time I had a chance to go, I will go see them in Israel.
I know that my father worked very hard on getting the Torah to Japan from Iraq. I think it actually was in Israel, and from Israel my uncle brought it to Japan, to Kobe. It stayed in Japan for many, many years, especially when my father was still living there. I was the first child who celebrated his bar mitzvah in Kobe, Japan, and actually read from the Torah. At some point, the siblings, my brothers and sisters, talked about that Sefer Torah, and we decided that it wasn't such a good idea for it to remain in Kobe. My brother David decided to go to Japan and to get the Sefer Torah back. He was able to get the Sefer Torah to the United States. We thought, why don't we bring it over here to BPY? And this is where it landed.
My parents always instilled within me and my brothers that you're you're still Jewish and you're still proud of your Judaism and you still keep kosher and mitzvot, and you're a decent human being, and we have a very rich history, and you respect that history.
Everything we can do in our house is according to the Roman Jewish traditions. We stick to the Italian way, like the Italian melody of singing the brachot and the Tehillim after the brachot. We want them to know that, and Bezrat Hashem to bring that in their own families and when they're older.
Still, we have our own traditional Persian. I do everything in house, from the cooking, from everything is Persian, even though my son is married with Ashkenaz, even though my daughter married with Moroccan. We have all the minhagim in the house. Also, we respect their minhagim, but still everything is Persian. I speak Farsi at home with my husband. I speak with my children Farsi. They both know Farsi very well, especially my son because he was older. So we like to keep up, and we have Persian shul, we have Persian friends. We all speak Farsi together.
This is my son's son's bar mitzvah, Bezrat Hashem. And henna, it's a big thing in our culture where it brings like happiness and joy and luck, they said. So you have to do it in kind of every big celebration, like wedding, bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, we had the equivalent of cholent in our home. We called it, the Iraqi word for it was tzbit. Tzbit is like chamim. It was a mixture of chicken and vegetables and beans and things like that. My mother made 3 or 4 or 5 different types of dishes, mostly Iraqi food. Everything that she made came with rice with meatballs, rice with okra, rice with butternut squash. But one thing we never had was just broiled meats, for example. She never just opened an oven, stuck something in there, and served it to us. We always had a nice, hot, cooked meal. Purim was a big, big deal. Everybody got all dressed up. Nobody wanted to be Haman, and nobody wanted to be anybody else except Achashverosh, Mordechai, and Esther. So most of the girls came as Esther, and most of the guys came as Mordechai.
The Syrian foods like kibbeh, lahmacun, all the things that you see here in the community, that's Sephardic foods, we have that also. We had that growing up, for sure.
Chagim, like I said, on Passover, they have different custom. Like on the night of the Seder, you wear also like your kaftan, like Moroccan outfit, and we sing a song. You bring the platter of the Seder and you sing. On Sukkot, it's beautiful in Morocco. Everybody has Sukkah, and everybody goes from one place to another. They stay until like 4 or 5. We have Mimuna on that I miss a lot from Morocco. On Pesach, the night of Mimuna, it's the last day of Pesach. When Pesach is over, we have like you gather with everyone and you just jump from one house to another without being invited, and you'll go to even people you don't know, because you have to go to every Jews in town. In every Ilula, all the governors will come and will bring a letter from the king to read to the community. The king will always say, like, Morocco has a blessing because of the Jews, and we want to keep the Jews and we want to protect you. Shabbat, we had like similar, like it's called dafina, so it's like kind of a chulent. I still do it every Shabbat. There's a big tzaddik, his name originally Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Yitzchak Abochatzera. We love singing those songs on Shabbat. They're very meaningful. He wrote those songs. So that's for the Shabbat song. Now for the mostly Moroccan one, we have beautiful songs where I love hearing them in Moroccan when we do henna.
Are there songs from your culture that are meaningful to you?
Yom Shabbat, Yom Shabbat, Yom Shabbat, Tismach Mo'od Nafshi.
What I am missing most about Iran, really the culture was nice. The culture, the respect, The goodness, the best food that really reminds me, Zichrona Bracha, my mother was making the best chicken soup ever. This is what I really still remember, that was so delicious, that chicken soup. It's a rice with a special stew. It makes from meat and chickpeas. That is very delicious.
My grandma, Zichra Livracha, was an amazing cook on my mother's side. And she was very, very deep into cooking a mix of Italian and Jewish Roman pizzarella col miele. That's a Pesach sweet, fried sweet. What else? Well, that's interesting. We eat a lot of lamb in Rome. And even on Pesach, we eat lamb on the Passover on the Seder night. She used to make homemade agnolotti and ravioli and at home, and it was very unique.
Well, the biggest value is Zehu Ashir Asameh Behelkom. We never aspired to be millionaires or rich. We had what we had, and when we grew up, we learned how to share, how to make our own toys and not complain about not having toys. You don't have to worry about anything because everything is going to turn out just fine when you believe in Hashem and you trust Him. You want to keep your tradition, keep your minhagim. I try to do it, in my way with my family and myself. I encourage everybody to do the same thing with their traditions.
When I think about my kids, something that I want for them to be solid and important is for them to know who they are. And this is their Jewish and Zionist identity. We try to visit Italy every summer, so they get to spend like a month in Italy and have like a full immersion. My kids are partly Italian. They grew up in America. They're also American, but they were born in Israel, and they're Jewish and Israeli.
My bracha to you is to look back at your life, just like I did now with you, look back at my life, and recognize all the amazing things that God put in your way throughout your whole life.
I am who I am because of my heritage. The most important value they taught me is like family, always be there for each other, what you believe, and how you grew up. For me personally, my family religion and tzaddikim was very part, and spiritual was like very part of our life, and that really helps me in my life, in everyday life. When they say, where are you from? I'm like, I'm so proud to say I'm from Morocco and I'm Moroccan.
I tell my kids, always be proud you're Persian. It is a good culture. We have a good culture and everything. The main important thing we really learn is derech eres, respect. No chutzpah, no rude, nothing. This is what really was the main thing we really learned, and I am very proud of that. I know in America you have everything you have. But the main thing, to have respect, to have kavod, to be nice to each other. If we are nice to each other, we respect and we have love, Hashem would look at achdut. This is the main important thing we should keep to ourselves.
I try to impress upon my children and grandchildren to enjoy this Sephardic background. In order to have a meaningful and successful life, I would just say, be honest, and you'll be successful.
The first thing that we look for when deciding to move here to Englewood was Jewish education for our kids. I think we found it here.
It's beautiful for us to have our kids growing up, knowing different type of Judaism, different ways of being Jewish, and again, understanding that it's all part of being one Am Yisrael.
I am so proud my kids are in this best yeshiva. They're getting good education, and Baruch Hashem, they are in very good hands. I am very honored and very proud. Thank you so much.
This makes me very happy that they are, especially in this school, that my wife was one of the founders and continues to be very supportive. And I must say that she can't be any more proud than she is of all the children, and especially these guys, because she sees them more often. Thank you, BPY.
I love the fact that you participated, guys.
Thank you so much.
Toda raba.